January 13th, 2025, year of our Lord. Here we are again, broadcasting live from Greenville, South Carolina.
In a world of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act.
And isn't that the truth? Telling the truth is a revolutionary act. I hope everybody has had a good weekend. This is episode 13. Where did the time go? I am killing it on TikTok. I need to bring more people to YouTube. But that's growing steadily. I'm very happy with all the numbers and growth. And let me tell you, all the BS about Zuckerberg not fact-checking, I have proof. This show is under attack. I'm under attack. I've been under attack since the day I started. This prick is shadow banning me and trying to drive my numbers down. But let me tell you something. I'm getting 400, 500, 600 views every single night. So the proof is in the pudding. My stuff is starting to go viral. People are actually mimicking my stuff because, look, I'm going to be the leader. This is it. We're going to be the leader. So I want to start out by going a little bit in. Oh, I love you, Amy. Thank you. Hey, look, we're going to protect each other, right? We're not going to let these scumbags, run over us. I'm not going to let it happen. We are definitely going to kick Zuckerberg's ass. And I'm going to get into Zuckerberg in a little bit. Anyway, let me just look at some of the comments. Okay. So the other day we laid Jimmy Carter to rest, and it was kind of upsetting to me, because the whole thing, the way the media reported it became all about Obama and Trump when really it was Carter's day to be laid to rest. I mean, I know both sides kind of had fun, looking at Trump and Obama, laughing it up and having a good time. And I'm, good for them that after one guy called one guy a threat to democracy and the other guy calls the other guy a completely evil, that those two could come together. I mean, that's fine. But really, it was upsetting that, the media didn't talk about the good things that Carter did after he left office. All the charity, family, he was a good humanitarian, and to see that the media, made it about such superficial stuff, really sucked. And I didn't like it, to be honest with you. And I felt that a lot of those people did not belong in that room because they really disrespected that man quite a bit. And so I just kind of wanted to start with that. And so, look, story number one. Today, I have eyewitness testimony that on the ground in Los Angeles County, evidence of infighting between Cali Fire, Department of Forestry, and LA County Fire Department. So what happened was LA County Fire Department and the Department of Forestry were all fighting to see who would have control over the airspace and oh, is that right, Amy? Hunter was there. What a disgrace. I mean, I agree with you. I think I felt bad for the Carter family. I really think most of the people that were talked about, even Harris, they really shouldn't have been there. They all disrespected that man, and I'm sorry. I'm putting everybody on notice now. If you talk about me or somebody that I love, who's a part of my family, the way you talked about Carter, don't come to my funeral, okay? You don't even know me. Just keep going, right? And I will make sure, even in my death, I'll let people lock those doors. Damn right, Amy. Because I don't want to see the fakeness when I'm dead, right? If you can't tell me you love me in life, stay the hell away from me in death, right? So, moving on. So what happened was, there was a lot of infighting. He was a great man, Julie. Thank you for that. In California. And so what happened was, there were pilots in C-130s sitting on the tarmac waiting for the order to start fighting the fires. Everyone in charge was totally incompetent, to the point they waited 4 hours before they got their stuff together, right? 4 hours. And as a result, it allowed the fires to go out of control. And so we have a total collapse. So this was not broken. This story was not broken. That 4 hours were wasted, and that firemen wanted to fight the fire but weren't allowed. They were told to stand down by the leaders. Okay, hearing this story reminds me of the Good Samaritan in North Carolina, who had a private helicopter. It was literally rescuing people on his dime from hurricane flooding. And when the North Carolina official says no and threatened to arrest that guy and seize his helicopter, this is the same kind of tyranny happening in California. That's ridiculous. What's nuts is that ambulance drivers did that and just sat there when someone was dying. They would be fired. That's right. I mean, imagine you're on the tarmac. You got these special planes, right, that can fly and drop fire retardant on the ground to help put out the fire. You have helicopters and, you're talking about probably $1 billion worth of equipment sitting there waiting. And these incompetent, woke DEI hires completely destroyed LA. It's their fault that these homes are destroyed. And so this actually is going to lead me into my next story, which is, again, one billionaire couple owns almost all the water in California. How is that not a monopoly? So check out this story. In 1994, Stuart and Linda Resnick gained control over a significant portion of California's water reservoirs through a series of secret meetings. Okay? Now, those meetings now are worth $5 billion, right? So, think about this. That is how bad the politicians are for sale in California. That you can have a secret meeting. So what the hell is that, a secret meeting, right? I believe stupid-ass governor caused this and wanted this to happen. Look, there is, Amy, that's funny that you said that. Because in economics, there is something called the broken glass theory. And what that means is, every time that there's a disaster, you get these Keynesian economics people who come out, right? They'll come out of the government. They'll go on CNBC. They'll go on NBC. They'll go even on Fox. And they'll tell you how wonderful it is for the economy whenever a storm goes by, because now we get to rebuild, right? That, look at this. Look at all this new work that we have as a result of the disaster that happened, right? But what they don't tell you is that, look, if my window never got broken, let's say I have a window, and I have somebody throw the rock, somebody throws a rock and breaks my window, right? This is the theory. And it's a leftist theory that, look, now you got to hire a contractor to put the window in, right? You have to order a new window from the manufacturer, right? So you see all the new labor that comes to put the window back in. But what these people don't tell you is that had I not thrown the rock through the window, that I could have taken that money to buy other things that I didn't need, right? So you're going to start to see people come out, they're primary leftists, right? They're Keynesian economics, and they come out and they will tell you how great this is for the economy. Look at all the roads we can build. Look at all the new telephone poles. Look at all the new housing, construction. But again, wouldn't that money be better spent on other things than rebuilding what you've already had? Yeah, that's right, Julie. I dug into the Sisniks, and they own a lot of companies. They own a lot of farms, and apparently they basically get their water for free. It is. It's all bullshit. But again, the media is not going to tell you this. You know, they're going to give you their. Again, it depends on where you're looking, right? Like, you know, Biden was out there today talking about how wonderful his presidency was because he took us out of Afghanistan. Now, I'm all for leaving Afghanistan, but how can he be proud of the way he left, right? All those soldiers got killed. The country is way in worse shape than when we first got there, right? Slavery is back in Afghanistan, right? We totally destroyed that country, and he's proud of this, right? Don't forget, he voted for those wars. He voted for the Iraq War. The Iraqis are living in such squalor today that President Trump, when he was president, he couldn't even fly Air Force One into Iraq with the lights on, being afraid that they were going to get shot down. Fires and such cause billions in rebuilding, construction, infrastructure work. Yes, but JR, here's the thing. That's the broken window theory. No, that money, see, think about it. If you have a house, right, if you think that's great for the economy, then go blow up your own house and say how great it is, right? Because again, if you're taking resources, don't forget, we have limited resources, right? If you have to rebuild what you've already had, then you're not taking the resources that you have to build new stuff. Oh, of course, you're right. Look, this is all an inside job. There's going to be a lot of politicians that, you know, I always see this, especially with the roads, right? So if anybody's familiar with like New Jersey, New York roads, right? All of this, right? It's all insider stuff, right? It's the politicians will say, hey, let's build a road, and then they'll make it 5 times the amount to actually build it. And by the time the politician gets a cutback, they issue it to their cousins or whoever, right? To subcontract it out, to build it. Yeah, it's a complete kickback. It's a scam. JR, you are completely right. And they do this with everything, right? They own all the materials, right? They've got all the contractors lined up. The politicians in California, their pockets, I mean, they're going to be so fat from federal dollars. And again, look, I have offended a lot of people on Facebook because, you know, I'm sorry. You know, nowhere in the Constitution does it say that we should be bailing people out. You know, I'm not for Wall Street bailouts. I'm not for banker bailouts. And I'm not for rebuilding $3, $4, $5 million homes. This is completely ridiculous. Sarlo, New Jersey, look into it. Hey, look, if you can private message me that, or like a link or something, I will look into it. I'll have somebody write that down. Everything is inside stuff. I was once gonna buy a coffee truck, those routes were. Yeah, Julie, that's pretty funny that you said that. That is 100% true. If you try to get a simple coffee route, I mean, you got to basically pay people off to get a good route, right? The best routes you're not getting, right? Because the politicians have been bought off, and they're like, hey, you want this great corner? You want to get in front of the courthouse? You got to kick something back to us in the building. CEO of Santa Rosa Conservatives. Yeah, I will. They get all the big jobs in Jersey. Oh yes, I've seen them. You know what, JR? I've actually seen them, and I will look into it. Roads, bridges, etc. Yeah. So look, we already see here what's going on in California. We've seen this play out before, and so they allowed those fires for 4 hours to get lit. Then so here's a story here that I wanted to share. So ABC and the Associated Press published an article. Now check out this title. Climate change contributed to a week of wild weather that uplifted life in LA. So I want to ask the question, was it climate change or mismanagement by your DEI hires? Let's look at this. 4 hours, nothing happened because everyone was fighting and nobody knew who was in charge. Mayor was seen cutting fire rescue funding. State and local government not building updated reservoirs in 30 years. Most of the water controlled by one couple, bought out by politicians. Border wide open, which allowed the illegal, first off, an illegal alien set the fires. Right there, trying to hide that. Border wide open. They have outdated pumps and fire hydrants that can't handle, the population of today's needs, right? Also, we have a fire chief who is more concerned with what she looks like when she gets to the fire versus if she can carry somebody out of the fire. This piece of garbage, it's a piece of trash, actually said, and I quote, "It's not her fault that she can't carry him out," meaning a guy, "that it is his fault that he's in the wrong place at the wrong time." This is... So think about what I just said. She's blaming the victims, right? Because, she's a queer, she's a lesbian, she thinks it's more important that she looks like a butch and that, when she shows up, that maybe you'll look like a butch and you'll be like, oh my God, a butch is saving me, right? She's probably a secret trainee. Who knows what she is, right? She's a total subhuman. And I heard that she's getting fired or got fired. I hope she gets the shit can, as they called it back in the day. She needs to go. But how dare her blame men, right? If they get caught in a fire somehow. I mean, a lot of times fires happen in an apartment building or, maybe a car goes out of control. We don't know. There are dozens of reasons how men can get caught in fires that are not their fault. But the point is that when a firefighter shows up, they got to be able to do the job. That's right, Amy. So in today's brave new world in California, being the victim is all that matters, right? And look, I have friends who are on the left, on the left, and their whole life is like being a victim. Like, I have friends, they won't even go on the internet because Trump won. Like, I'm as civil as you get. Like, I'll talk to anybody, because I believe open dialogue, sanitizes bullshit, right? But like now they're so pissed off with Trump winning that they won't even come out to have a conversation. And so, they're going to go into their little safe space and, be a victim. And it's I'm just kind of tired of it, to be honest with you. Yes, Julie, that's true. There's a lot of women out there, they just hate men. And apparently, this firefighter does hate men. I know these women, there are a lot of liberal women out there. They, like I was discussing in one of my first videos, episodes, that, about women, they won't have sex with their boyfriend if they voted for Trump, or, oh, I'm not going to see my son because, for Thanksgiving because my son voted for Trump. I mean, these people are fucking idiots. I'm sorry, excuse my language, but if you are that thin-skinned, right, then go back to your safe space, go back in the closet. No, we don't need you, right? You're a soy boy, you're a butch, you're all the things that we're kind of sick and tired of, right? Like, I don't care if you're butch, queer, whatever you are, right? Just don't force us to, make us do shit, right? I don't want to call you what you're not, right? Like, I'll call you by your name, and that's it, right? But I don't have to do what you want me to do. I'm sorry. That's true. I am the enemy. I'm the enemy for the left. I am the enemy for tyranny. I'm the enemy of people who don't want to hear the truth. So I agree with you, Julie and Amy and JR. So this whole fire in California was not caused by climate change. It was caused because of disgusting politicians who put profits over the people. This is why I get so frustrated with voters who idolize, their politicians. Like, look, they work for us, they work for us, and, it's important that, yeah, that's true. JR, I agree with you. We have them on all sides. That's why I'm a libertarian, right? Because we have to call them out on all sides. And, again, you go live your life, and that's cool. But if you're going to use the government, I don't care if you're on the right or you can be a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care. But once you start to use government to steal from other people, to give to yourself, right? Once you lie for a politician, right? Once you, use the government to steal individual and economic rights from others, right? Then you're no better than anyone else, right? That's why I'm posting to get Democrats crazy. Oh, trust me, Amy, you're definitely going to make them crazy. But again, in all seriousness, that's why I feel that it's important that we call out delusion on all sides, right? And what really bothers me are the people in the media on both sides. Like, if you take a Sean Hannity, like, he'll sit there and, bob and weave his way, right? Whoever is the leader of the Republican Party, Hannity's for. He doesn't care about family values. Here's a guy who created a family, okay? This is the kind of hypocrite he is. Creates a family, has children, and then bangs his co-host, Ainsley Earhart, while married, okay? And then gets a divorce, right? And then now he's hooked up with her, right? And she comes out with all these Bible books, right? That's the hypocrisy that I don't like. Because, they're the same people that will tell people what to do in their bedroom, or what to smoke, or what to drink. Like, nobody's perfect. Like, I'm not claiming to be perfect. But what I do claim is, like, just leave people alone. Don't be a hypocrite. Like, you know, if you see a bad politician, call him out. It doesn't matter. That's right. He cheated with Ainsley. He is a fraud. And no different than an Anderson Cooper or a Laura Coates or any of these other, you know, disgusting people. Yeah, now they are America's couple. Yeah, so, you know, this is the nonsense that goes on. And you got Ainsley Earhart writing Bible books as she was married with a child, committing adultery. She committed adultery. She's doing, you know, God book. I mean, give me a break. The whole thing is nonsense. But anyway, I digress. It's their life. They can live it. But just don't be a hypocrite. That's all I ask. So, let me go into my next story. Does everybody know who Steve Bannon is? So, Steve Bannon was Trump's former advisor. Okay, so he was on the Trump, in the Trump's presidency in his first term. And Steve Bannon has come out and he's condemning Elon Musk. He called him completely evil, and he promised on his platform that he's going to take Elon down, that he won't even have an access card to the White House by the time Trump becomes president. And I found this really interesting, and I actually, now I don't, you know, I'm not for deplatforming people. I'm not, you know, I believe, look, Elon's got the biggest platform of all on X. And so, you know, you're not really going to take him down, right? So there is that. But I think Elon Musk needs to be called out. I think Vivek needed to be called out. Trump needed to be called out. And Steve Bannon is right. Elon Musk is not good for Trump. Elon Musk is out there advocating that H-1B visas need to be expanded, right? That we need to bring in more foreign cheap labor, right? I mean, that's not making America great again. You know, I brought this up on a couple of episodes already. That the reason why Vivek and Elon want to bring in cheap labor, right? First, they save on average $40,000. That's right, JR. Let's not forget, you're right. It was him and Stone. What was his name? Roger Stone. It was Roger Stone that talked Trump and that said, hey, Trump, you should run. And then it was Bannon that took him over the line. So, you're right, JR. You know, Elon came in in the 11th hour of this of this campaign. He came in right at the end. And look, there's no doubt Elon pushed Trump over the edge with X and everything. And, yeah, Roger Stone. And, you know, but Trump needs to remember, he needs to remember Roger Stone. He needs to be in there. Steve Bannon needs to be in there, right? These are his OGs, right? These are the guys that basically set the original battle plans. You know, and and what killed Trump, this is what got me with Trump. You know, Trump would have a Steve Bannon and he would have a Roger Stone, but then he'd have these Bush guys that he allowed in. You know, like, I forget the guy's name, but there were a bunch of them. And it's, you know, and then he was listening to, like, the Bush guys. And that was wrong. Like, you know, so, you know, I want to see, you know, Steve Bannon call out Elon Musk for trying to bring in these foreign cheap workers. Let's see. Elon can buy Trump 100 times over, which is dangerous. And here's the thing, JR, if everybody's telling the truth, Trump is for sale. Trump is for sale. You know, the whole thing that I liked about Trump in 2016, he goes, look, I can't be bought. What happened? Apparently he can. You know, let's put it like this. Trump, after, it did not even being elected, after election, he's had big oil, he had big oil come to Mar-a-Lago. And they cut him a check. And what did Trump come out with? Well, we're going to, you know, allow you to do X, Y, Z. Then look at Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg goes down there, gives him $1 million, which is going to be my next story, but I kind of jumped it. What do you know? Zuck comes out and says, oh, I'm no longer going to fact check, right? But he's shadow banning me tonight. He shadow bans me every single night, which I'm going to get into in future episodes. I'm not going to get into it fully tonight. But yeah, you're right, Amy. Trump is being manipulated by Elon Musk and Vivek, right? And let's get into it. These guys, okay, when you bring in these foreign workers, on average, they make $40,000 less than their American counterpart. Also, there's all sorts of taxes that you don't have to pay into, right? If you fit a certain criteria in the tax code, which, trust me, these guys have a mile long of lawyers to figure out just which country to bring these people in from. There's no Social Security tax, Medicare tax, Medicaid, Obamacare. You know, so how can the American compete with this cheap labor? Don't believe Vivek. You're not an idiot, okay? It's not because you want Saved by the Bell. It's because these cheap bastards who are running corporate America, they hate you, they don't like you, they're telling you to your face, and we need to call them out. Yes! Here's the thing, JR, you're right. Instead of giving American idiots pennies on the dollar in exchange for votes, they should teach them skills, coding, and etc., construction, whatever, right? But here's the thing about that, is that, first off, you know, this is why we got to get rid of the income tax. Get rid of it. Get rid of the corporate tax, right? First off, they're unconstitutional to begin with. But when you get rid of it, right, then what happens? There are no more of these double standards within the tax codes. Older and can't think for himself because he's never been manipulated by anybody. He's just scared that he feels that these people are going to help him. You know what, Amy? Yeah, I mean, Trump is old. He's now going to be the oldest. I'm not sure. I think he's the oldest man ever elected to the office. I think he beat Biden now by 1 year. But you know, but here's the thing. This is what gets me so upset with the Republican Party, is that, you know, when Trump does something like bring in Elon and Vivek, it becomes, oh, you know, Trump was scammed, right? But it's never Trump's fault. You know, again, Trump is a smart man, right? He's not Biden. He's not Hunter Biden. He's not Harris, right? He's not Tampon Tim, right? He owns a multi-billion-dollar business, right? You don't own something like that without understanding how the world works, right? So we have to hold him accountable, right? Just like I said the other night, we have to hold Biden accountable, right, for everything that he's done. And trust me, what Biden has done to this country, we will be paying for decades, okay? This is not going away, okay? What happened? The income tax is a scam. It's unconstitutional. I ask everybody, Go read Erwin Schiff's book, The Government Mafia. He goes into it. He was an income tax protester, and he was right. We should definitely get rid of it. We should go to just a consumption tax and have, a little bit of tariffs, to kind of offset. It would be nice if you had no tariffs, but, you need some tariffs. We don't need 100% tariffs, though. It's all part of the same hypocrisy with different color uniforms. Yeah. You're right. There was, I remember, it was a long time ago. There was memes where they should have race car jackets on with all their, like, Pfizer, Exxon, all of the people, corporations that bought them. And, it used to be, not long ago, that when a politician was bought, right, they did it behind closed doors in smoky-filled rooms. Now, hell, they do it live on TV. I mean, they just don't care. Trump is also a marketing G. Yeah. JR, that's how he won the presidency. He's a great salesman, and you can't take that away from him. I am a salesman at heart. A lot of my business is sales, and the guy is an animal, right? I would not want to go up against him, to be honest with you, against Trump, head-to-head in sales, because he's a killer. And look, that's his business. And so but we have to understand as a salesman, right? They're like lawyers, right? And they're very good at bullshitting. And so Trump can look at you and be very convincing and tell stories and do all that and literally bullshit you straight to your face. Like, when he says, Trump steaks are the greatest steaks ever, right? You know that they're not, but, you might want to try it because he said it. It's one of those things. Let me see. Yeah. But look, Trump is like I said, he's one of the greatest salespeople of our time. And now he's cashing in on the presidency. This is it. This is his last, big pot of gold for him and his family. And we see it on display. So, look, I agree with Steve Bannon. We should not be bringing in cheap labor. And, that's what I wanted to say. Right now, we have people who are, they have degrees for coding and all the stuff you were just talking about. We have over 12 million people with degrees right now that are not in that business, right? Why? Because they can't compete, or the pay is too low, right? Because they cannot compete with what we're bringing in. So what we need to do is stop bringing in these foreign workers, allow Americans to bid up those jobs and get paid what they're worth, And it's not like, Elon and Vivek can't afford to pay somebody, right? It's completely ridiculous. So let's hope that people keep calling out this story, because I think this is the big story. This story regarding bringing in foreign workers is why Trump started bringing up Greenland and Canada and the Panama Canal, because it was all a distraction. Okay, let's see what Amy is saying. I have a very, very bad feeling that now between the inauguration, hoping nothing happens because they really don't want him in office. I'm hearing all these rumors. I don't know it's true. Maybe you would know, Bobby. For some reason, if something happens to Trump when they got hold of inauguration, tell her they could hold it for 6 months. Him and Vance, I'm not going to be sworn in if something happens. Well, look. Well, no. Right now, if something happened to Trump, I would think, and again, maybe JR or somebody knows, I don't know how that works. Maybe it goes to Vance, and if not Vance, then it does go to Mike Johnson. You know, but right now, Trump has a ton of security around him. You know, I don't see anything happening to him. And I hope nothing happens to him. I hope nothing happens to Biden, right? That's not the way we should be governing our country, right? With bullets, right? We should be governing our country by electing the best people for the job. Vance would take over. That was my intuition, is that Vance would take over because he's the elect vice president. So yeah, that's how that should work. Vance would take over, and that would be pretty interesting. Not something happens. I mean they will not get him sworn in. I'm not sure why Trump wouldn't be sworn in. You know, yes, Julie, if let's say Trump lost his mind, if they did the 20th Amendment, then Vance would be sworn in. In addition, to keep key changes, a waiting period between election inaugurations, the 20th Amendment. Vice President takes it up. Yeah, well, look, that's right. JR is right. The hard part was already done. Now it's the pomp and stance, and you know, now it's you know, it's the party. You know, it's the, you know, the transfers are already done. Kamala did that, and thank you, JR, you're right. Got all that done. So, you know, Trump is president-elect. As far as the actual swearing in, he's going to be sworn in. You know, don't listen to the chat rooms. You know, look, could something happen? Sure. The odds of something happening, very little. Because now he gets the kind of coverage, security coverage that Biden gets. I heard it could take 6 months. I really don't know, Amy, what you're talking about. What could take 6 months? No, the transfer of power is going to happen on the 20th. This is a done deal. Yeah, I mean, judges may make a stink that he's not going to prison, but it's stuck to his record. Look, Amy, he's a felon, right? So, I mean, look, this is who Americans elected, okay? They knew about him and Stormy, right? They knew about him and that old Benny, I forget her name. But the other one, I want to be nice. I don't want to call her a name. But I forgot her name. E. Jean Carroll. You know, like, they knew about the Playboy bunny that went to Trump Tower, and she went into Trump's bedroom and seen Melania's picture with the kid on a nightstand, and she ran out. She says, I can't do this. You know, look, we know all the sleazy stories with Trump, right? Trump has been, I'm sorry to say, he's been a slime ball to every wife he's ever had, all right? He's a scumbag to his wives. He is not faithful, okay? Let's just call it what it is. The man has a love child, for God's sake, right? But that doesn't mean he didn't win the election. It doesn't mean he didn't win honestly, okay? He won fair and square. And the people did not care about Trump's behavior. So, you know, but on the same token, right? See, this is where I'm going to be very clear with everybody where I stand on this. I cared about Trump's behavior. And if I seen somebody write about it and kind of like, oh, you know, I don't care what he does in his private life. I just want him to lead the country. I did call it out. And I would say, well, if his private life and how he behaves doesn't matter, then don't you bring it up when the other side has bad behavior. Like Hunter Biden doing coke off a hooker's ass, right? Then don't bring that up, right? Because then what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? If you accept Trump cheating on his wives, then you have to accept Bill Clinton doing the same, right? That's right, right? So for me, right, I think character matters. That's me, okay? I believe character matters. Like, I had a good friend of mine today, send me something that says the CIA is lying to Trump about something. And so I wrote back very honestly. I said, okay, but do you care about lying? Because you voted for somebody who lies, right? So, you can't be upset that the FBI or the CIA lies, but then you vote for a liar too, right? And I see that with the Democrats, right? You can't be like, against Trump because, Trump offends you, right? But then you're okay when Biden calls MAGA evil, right? So I'm pretty clear on that stuff. I do believe character matters. Like, I called out Sean Hannity before. Again, it's his life, but then don't be advocating to rule over my life. Like, leave me alone. Leave your neighbors alone, right? Follow the Constitution. That's right. Amy Kennedy was screwing Marilyn Monroe while he was in office. And again, look, I think what's happened to American culture is really sad. I'm going to be honest. Because, and when it came to Kennedy, people on all sides loved Kennedy. Kennedy was, loved by, liberals and conservatives and people in the middle. And so, everybody overlooked Kennedy's behavior, okay? Fast forward to Bill Clinton, Bill Clinton with Monica, he disgraced the Oval Office. That's my opinion, right? I'm going to be honest now. At the time when Bill Clinton did that, I made excuses for Bill Clinton. I did. Because I kind of fell into the trap of, well, it's their business, it's none of our business. But it is our business. He's running the country. He did it on the clock. He did it in our building, right? He represents our country. Can't we do better than what Bill Clinton did with Monica, right? And the cigar, okay? And now we've gotten used to this behavior. So here comes Trump. And because we overlooked it in the past, now nobody cares. So, if you don't believe in character for Trump, and you say character doesn't matter, then you got to do the same thing with the Clintons. You got to do the same thing with the Bidens, right? All the perverts on the left, right? All the weird shit that they do, right? You now got to look the other way because it doesn't matter. That's right. JR, the real victim was Lewinsky. You're 100% right. Her life got destroyed. And, it's real, it's really sad because Bill Clinton, he walked away a billionaire. He walked away. People still revere the guy, and she's looked at as a whore, right? But who was the married person? Who had vows? Bill Clinton did. Lewinsky didn't have no honor to Hillary. Bill did. And that's the part that just, it bothers me. Same thing with Trump. We could joke around about Stormy Daniels and the other, the Playboy Playmate. I always forget her name. She had dark hair, beautiful woman. But, we could joke around about it. But at the end of the day, Melania was pregnant, okay, with Barron. And what was he doing? He wasn't at home attending to his wife. He was out screwing Stormy, okay? And it's all over the internet. You could see it. And I'm sorry. I feel bad for Melania. I do. I think I wish she would have stood up for herself and just divorced him. I mean, I hate watching these women kowtow behind these guys. I mean, that's me. You know, if she was my daughter, I'd strangle the fucker, to be honest with you. But again, it's her life, it's her choice, it's his choice. But again, if character doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter to you. Yeah, Amy, it's stormy weather for sure. You know, and Melania is a class act. And, you know, Trump, I'll tell you what, out of all the things Trump has in his life, Melania is the greatest thing he's ever had, besides his children, right? And the fact that he did her dirty, I'm shocked. I'm really shocked how the American people were not just disgusted by what Trump did. I'm sorry. For me, that's how I see it, and everybody can see it their way. You know, it is what it is. But look, he's the president. He earned it. I support Trump, that I want Trump to be the greatest president that we've ever had, right? I want Trump to succeed. And, you know, look, if I could do anything to help make that happen, I will do it, right? If the president called me and said, hey, Bobby, I need some help, I'm there. I would do it in a second. But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to pretend, to support something that I don't. She's beautiful. Melania has money with Trump. Why would she give it up in New York? She could be with any man she wants. Well, I can tell you, Amy, why she... Well, for one, you know, if she breaks up with him, you know, she's going to come into some dough, okay? I'm sure he's got a prenup, but, you know, he'll pay her off, and it would be... let me tell you, I think right now, Trump's marriage is completely transactional. I can tell by the way the two of them act in public, she's had it with him. She's been embarrassed by him. You know, she only comes out when he needs her, right? She is not the Melania she was in 2016. I think that Melania is gone. Melania has a young kid. Oh, please send that to me in my messenger. Let me know more about that young kid. Yeah, only married appearances. And Amy, that's the sad part about it. That's the part that breaks my heart. Because she deserves more than that. And I'm really shocked that he wasn't held accountable. I'm really shocked. Oh, Barron Trump. Well, I mean, Barron is now, I think he's 18, 19 years old. I think he's like 7 foot tall. She doesn't want to F him up with a divorce. Yeah, no, I know. That's my whole point, JR, is that, you know, the only reason why she's not divorcing him, it's transactional. It's not because she loves him. It's because she knows she's going to screw up the whole presidency. And I believe Melania loves the country, and so is going to stick it out with them. Yeah, it would. But, you know, we have to ask ourselves, what does Trump deserve? Does he deserve to stay married to this woman, or does he deserve divorce? That's for them to decide. I have my opinion. But I wanted to get into my last story. I have one more story. And it's called Don't Trust the Zuck. So Zuckerberg can't be trusted by Republicans, libertarians, constitutionalists. Listen, guys, gals, whatever you identify as, right? You cannot trust Zuckerberg, okay? Don't fall for him flying down to Mar-a-Lago and giving Trump $1 million, then turning around and saying that, oh, I'm no longer going to fact check. Oh, big deal. You know what? Newsflash, your fact checkers blow, okay? Your fact checkers are full of shit, okay? Let's just call it what it is. And so, Zuckerberg, let's remember what Zuckerberg did in 2018. So in 2018, Zuckerberg befriended Trump. He got in the White House. Again, remember, Trump was surrounded by 2018. He had a lot of Bush guys in there. And they were like, oh, bring in Zuckerberg, bring in these other globalists, and, he'll help you. Well, what did Zuckerberg do? Not even a year later, he spent $450 million going against Trump and Republicans. He deplatformed Trump and many of his followers. Yours and truly, I've been in jail so many times. They literally almost banned my account. Account of speaking up. I know, JR, you've been put in Facebook jail many times. Most of our friends have been put in Facebook jail who spoke out about COVID and all the BS stuff that the government was doing, right? Do you remember that? And, okay, I remember one of the stupidest posts that I made that got me in Facebook jail was when Fauci came out. Remember Dr. Fauci? I put it in quotes. Dr. Fauci came out and he started recommending wearing 2 masks. And he said, look, 1 mask is good, but 2 masks, we could really stop COVID. So then I made a post and I said, well, guess what, Dr. Fauci? If 2 masks can stop COVID, if we put on 6 masks, I can end racism. This is how stupid these people were. That's why I have a second account. He put me in jail, Andy. Yeah, good for you. Look, I wore, and we all do. We wore our time in jail as a badge of honor. But I remember sitting in that jail for, God, I think the last one, it was a long time. I was in there for like 6 weeks or something. And I remember all the information, and you think about like my post, I don't curse on my post. I don't, nothing racist or anything. I'm pretty libertarian down the line. I think it's kind of vanilla, the stuff compared to what other people put. And they were hitting me hard, because they did not want freedom. They did not want the Constitution spoken about. They did not want free markets spoken about, right? I mean, if you spoke out against the mask or social distancing, I remember I had posted, because, I didn't shut down. And I remember going to Home Depot, and all I did was I took a picture. There were like dozens of masks on the ground of Home Depot, like the parking lot. And I made a post, and I took a picture of it, and I put, is this really sanitary? And for that, I went to jail. Then I went to Facebook jail another time because I posted a picture of Hunter Biden high in a bathtub with 2 hookers. Right? Now, he wasn't naked, but you could see his nips, But so what? But because you can't talk about Hunter, I went to prison. Yeah, it's against community standards. Yeah, and, JR, it's funny that you mentioned shadow banning, because I know for a fact, my last live, I had on over 15 friends of mine that were messaging me and commenting, and it was saying I only had 2 or 3 or 1. This guy is so full of shit, and he's doing everything he can to stop people like us from getting the word out, exposing these pricks. And look, this episode is being shadow banned as we speak. And you know what? I take it as a badge of honor. Go ahead, bitch. Keep shadow banning me because I'm not going to stop. You're going to have to kick me out. You have to kick me off. This is it. You've been served, as they say. You're my bitch now. You know, but thank you, Steve. I love you, buddy. You know, and see, that's my point. See, Steve hopped on. The number didn't even change. Yet everybody's still here. How can that be? How can I have more people commenting than what shows in the feed? It's complete bullshit, right? So, look, this is what I need. I need people to subscribe to my YouTube, leave comments, like, share. If you could, please pick a YouTube video and leave a comment. You know, I really thank you guys. It really helps. I love you guys. Look, I'm going to be back on Wednesday night. And I hope that God blesses our country, that we have, again, they put these fires out, that we call out the corruption and the BS that's out there. You know, look, we covered a lot of ground, and I appreciate you guys. They're not going to stop us. They're not going to get to us. And I love you. And please message me if there's any concerns or anything. Thank you. Have a great night.